background noise, and this call is being recorded. So if you would like to turn off your camera, you are welcome to. Our guest for today is Jack Camp. He's the Public Affairs Specialist at the U.S. Small Business Administration. And with that, let's get started. I will turn it over to the Congressman for some opening remarks.
Thank you, Nari. I don't want to take too much time. Just want to welcome all of our small business owners to this call. We've had a difficult year. That's an understatement. We spent much of the last year trying to make sure that our Main Street businesses could survive COVID through the PPP and the Restaurant Revitalization Fund and the Shuttered Venues Fund. And, I think some of those programs were very, very successful in making it possible for folks to get through that terrible period. And then Ida hit us. And now we've got something else to rebuild from. A lot of us are dealing with this as homeowners, including me and probably many of you as well. But I know that small businesses have particular needs, and there are particular programs that are designed to help you that are managed by the Small Business Administration. And so we're very fortunate today to have with us Mr. Jack Camp from the SBA, who is the expert on the call and who is prepared to take all of your questions. I presume I've got a lot too, so I'll be listening in. And with that, I just want to turn the podium over to Jack for a brief presentation, and then we'll get to all of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. And I want to thank everybody for joining the call today to give me this opportunity to talk a little bit about SBA's disaster assistance program that is available to the small businesses here in New Jersey who've been affected by the remnants of Hurricane Ida. Now, our program is available as a result of President Biden's major disaster declaration for Hurricane Ida, the remnants, and it's for the event is for the storms on the 1st to the 3rd of September. So if we could go ahead, I've just got a couple of slides for you. Like I said, this is for the remnants of Hurricane Ida on September 1st through the 3rd. The declaration covers FEMA declared 12 counties. Bergen, Essex, Gloucester, Hudson, Hunterdon, Mercer, Middlesex, Morris, Passaic, Somerset Union, and Warren. These counties are eligible for both our physical and economic injury disaster loan programs. Now, in addition to those counties, SBA goes a little further, recognizing that disasters don't stop at county or state lines. We make small businesses in adjacent counties eligible for our economic injury disaster loan program. So here in New Jersey, as a result, the way the counties are, and they're spread out, if you have a small business that is not located in Cape May or Ocean County, you can apply for an economic injury disaster loan. Our physical disaster loans are a little bit different in that they are available to businesses of all sizes. You don't have to meet SBA's size standards to qualify for a physical disaster loan. These loans are for up to 100% of your uninsured losses. That can include any tangible item that the business owns that was damaged in the disaster, that be it building, land, inventory, machinery and equipment, supplies, furniture, whatever the business had that was damaged as a result of the declared disaster. In addition, now also on the physical disaster side, a lot of people don't realize they hear our name and think, that this is for businesses. But it's also for homeowners. In fact, most of our loans are to homeowners. So If you have a business and you also have a home here in New Jersey in the disaster area that happened to be damaged by the hurricane, you can apply for a home loan from SBA. Our limits on our loans are, for home loans, we can loan up to $200,000 for real estate losses. For homeowners and renters can apply for up to $40,000 for personal property. Our business loans can go up to $2 million. Now, on the economic injury side, remember I said that for physical, it was businesses of all sizes. For economic injury or working capital loans, you do have to qualify as a small business. And our interest rates on all of these are very favorable. For a business, they're as low as 2.855%. Most of our loans will be at that rate. The terms can be up to 30 years. So getting interest rates that low, certainly for that length of time, is a pretty good deal, I think. Our application deadlines, these loans are available through November 4th for physical damage, and through June the 6th for economic injury. And okay, if we can go to the next slide. Okay, so how do you apply? We like to talk about, we have a 3-step process. First is to apply for the loan. Now, since this is a presidential major declaration, I always encourage everybody to first register with FEMA. If all you have is business loss, you don't have to, you can come straight to SBA. But I do want to make sure that everybody gets all the assistance that might be available to them. And it's easy to register with FEMA. Just go to disasterassistance.gov. That's disasterassistance, all one word, .gov. Or you can call them at 1-800-621-3362. Once you've done that, then FEMA will refer all businesses to SBA. There are currently no grants available. So to apply with SBA, very simply, go to disasterloanassistance.sba.gov. So it's kind of similar, but it's disasterloanassistance.sba.gov. Or you can call us at 1-800-659-2955. We also have representatives available to help you, and they can help you apply at any FEMA center, disaster recovery center. Plus, we have set up 3 business recovery centers here in New Jersey, one in Bergen County, one in Somerset County, and one in Gloucester County. So you can go in there and meet with an SBA representative one-on-one, and they will help you apply for the loan. Once you completed your application, then our verifiers are going to get in touch with you to estimate the amount of your damages. They'll talk to you about that, and then they may or may not visit your property. But once the verification team has reviewed your case and estimated an amount for your physical damages, then a loan officer will be getting in touch with you, and they'll gather any additional information that's needed and make a decision. We're going to be trying to make decisions on these loans in 2 to 3 weeks. So, go ahead and get your loan application in so we can get you a decision on your loan. We've already made some decisions on a good many of these loans. Once your loan is approved, we'll prepare the loan closing documents and mail them out to you. We can close the loan through the mail if you'd like. They come with instructions on how to execute the documents. Once we have the signed documents, we can make an initial disbursement within 5 business days. And for a business, we can disperse an initial disbursement can be up to $25,000 for your physical damages, and then for your economic damages up to $25,000. So we'll put these loans together in one loan, but we do consider it separate with a physical portion and a working capital or economic injury portion. And either of those we can, depending on your eligibility, disperse up to $25,000. So you could conceivably get with your initial disbursement up to $50,000. We will assign a case manager to work with you, and they will help to schedule the subsequent disbursements. They'll help you with any changes to the loan that need to be made. For example, if you have unexpected repair costs, you discover additional damages, or if you receive additional proceeds from whatever source that affects your eligibility. And so that is basically how to apply. The important thing to remember is disaster loan assistance, 3 words, disasterloanassistance.sba.gov. Okay. Now, if you're going to apply to FEMA, it's just disaster assistance, just the 2 words, .gov, and there's no SBA. So it's for SBA, it's disasterloanassistance.sba.gov, or go to our 800 line, 1-800-659-2955. And of course, we do have people at any of our centers. I encourage you to take advantage of the centers while they're open. They are temporary centers. So, and it's usually better to get, help while we're here in person, can sit down with you one-on-one. And with that, I will be happy to take any questions that anybody has.
Great, thanks, Jack. Let's move into a Q&A portion. Again, just a reminder for anyone that might have just joined, if you would like to ask a question, please first do so using the chat feature at the bottom of your screen. Please ask your question and include your name and the town you are from as well. We will try to get to as many questions as we can. And let's start with Raquel from Union. Raquel, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. How are you?
Good.
Good. So 3 questions actually. Is it a hard pull on our credit for individuals for these loans? How long do we have to pay them off? And I think I saw the answer, but the interest rate for paying them off.
Okay. Those are good questions. It is a hard pull on your credit, yes. Because it is a loan application. It's just like, any other loan. If you got a mortgage on your home or someone's going to pull your credit. The terms on the loans, they can be up to 30 years. Okay. So we're going to take that on a case-by-case basis. The interest rate also, I say the interest rate for a business loan is as low as 2.855%. There's 2 rates actually. And I like to think of them sort of like as a subsidized and a market rate. The lower rate, which most people will qualify as 2.855%, and the other rate is 5.71%. As I say, most people will qualify for the lower interest rate. We take a look at your financial condition, your credit history, and the amount of your uninsured losses in making that determination.
Okay, thanks.
Great, thanks, Raquel. Next up, we have Terry from Summit. Terry, can you hear us?
I can.
Go ahead with your question.
I am a principal at a company that manages condo complexes. And we have a complex in Summit that has suffered some significant mechanical losses. And I believe they're set up as a nonprofit corporation. So I'm wondering what might be available for them if they would fall into this category.
Okay. Well, the good news is that they can apply. We consider it sort of as a business. But the other good news is that since it's a nonprofit organization, there's a different interest rate. The interest rate would be 2% for the homeowners association. Okay. So if you've got a nonprofit organization, yes, you can apply, and the interest rate is 2%. Now, HOAs can be a little bit interesting in that you can have dual eligibility. The homeowners can have the eligibility, and the association can have eligibility. We're going to look at your corporate documents, your covenants and restrictions, and to determine who is responsible for what. What you describe, major mechanical issues most likely are typically going to be the responsibility of the homeowners association. So yes, the association can apply. The individual unit owners can apply for those losses that they are responsible for, and those items are determined by your corporate documents.
Okay, and I did forward the town hall, I believe it was last week, to those owners. So I think some of them may attended. Plus, they've also gone to their insurance as well. But I will certainly pass that along. And thank you.
Thanks, Terry. And Terry mentioned the town hall. I believe she was referring to our telephone town hall that we had last week. I will go ahead and I will drop that link into the chat feature in just a little bit as well, so everyone has access to that conversation. Next up, we have Richard. Richard, can you hear us? Richard K.
He's on mute.
Richard, you're on mute. I see your mouth moving, but just need to, there you
Okay.
go. Perfect.
So can we go ahead and make repairs while we're waiting for the loan?
Yes, you can go ahead and make it and start the repairs. I would probably, just make sure that you document things. Pictures or photographs are not required, though they're always helpful. Definitely keep receipts. Whatever you spend, just make sure that you keep a copy of your receipts so you can document the work that you've done.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Next up, we have Prahans. Prahans, can you hear us? Apologies if I'm not
Yes,
pronouncing.
yes.
There you are. Great. Go ahead with your question.
So, for residential landlords, what services are available and loans? Are the loans treated as, I guess, a business loan? And can any of the money used for refinancing?
Okay, yes, a landlord is considered a business, so you would be covered under our business limits up to $2 million. So, I don't know how many units you have, but if you have multiple units, we would add them up, and as long as it was under $2 million, then we could consider you for a loan for that amount. The other part of your question regarding,
and so, like, I've had about cumulative. I've had 6 properties that had damage, and cumulatively about maybe 100,000 in damage, and I'm probably going to get insurance for half of that.
Okay.
So now I can, I guess, get loan for the other 50, but I don't know if it's worth it to get another loan. The only benefit I would see is if I get additional money to refinance the properties and reduce my cost structure.
Okay.
Is that possible?
Well, what I would recommend is that you go ahead and apply and see what we can do. We do have refinancing as a benefit of our program. Not everybody qualifies for refinancing. And certainly if you do, your loan officer, you can discuss that with your loan officer. The criteria, you do have to have a substantial uninsured loss. So for those of you who have insurance, we can't determine if you have a substantial uninsured loss until the claim's been settled. You do have to intend to repair or replace the property, and we have to make a determination that you do not have credit available elsewhere. So, if you meet those criteria, the loan officers, they're cued in to discuss the issue with you. And certainly, even if they don't bring it up, I encourage you to bring it up. It doesn't cost you anything to apply for the loan, and you're not under an obligation to take the loan if one is offered. So I would say go ahead and apply and see if see what we can offer you. And if it is helpful for your circumstances, then go ahead and take the loan. If it isn't, you haven't really lost anything.
Thanks both. We have just a few questions to get through here. Again, a reminder, if you have a question, please use the chat feature at the bottom of your screen, and we will be sure to get to it. Next up, we have Alan from Somerset County. Alan, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much, Nery, and thank you, Mr. Camp and Congressman. I live in Somerset County, but my affected property is in Highland Park, which is Middlesex County. Mr. Camp, which disaster recovery location should I go to, or does it matter to begin the process of getting an SBA loan?
It does not matter. You can go to any disaster recovery center, any business recovery center, in any SBA center throughout the country, as a matter of fact. If you were out in California and they had a declaration for the fire out there and you saw a disaster recovery center, you could walk in and apply for this loan. We'd help you.
Will they help you fill out the application there and tell
Oh,
you?
sure. Yes. They're all pretty much online now, so it's the same process.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Thanks both. And Jack, correct me if I'm wrong. There is also one business recovery center in Somerset County. I will put those resources from Somerset County into the chat feature. That business recovery center is in Bridgewater, and I believe that is the one that we have around our community right now as well. Jack, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Great. All right, I put the search feature for the disaster recovery centers in the chat, as well as information for the business recovery center in Somerset County into the chat. So you all will have those, all of that information as well. And with that, let's go to Isabel. Isabel, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Go ahead with your question.
Thank you for this meeting first. Really appreciate it. I'm a homeowner and my son is living in the house. So we had damage in the house, but I wasn't sure if it's worth for us to apply for a loan. And I have in fact two questions. To apply for the loan, I heard that some people say, you don't have to reimburse the loan, which kind of surprising. So I would like just to check, on this rumor. And the second question is about is there an asset limit that will result in your loan being rejected?
Okay. First of all, since you're a homeowner, I would recommend that you be sure that you first register with Fema, Disaster Assistance.
I did.
Okay, great. And now they do refer most people to the SBA. And did they refer you to us?
Yes, because it's not my primary residence. Only my son is living there.
Oh, okay. So your son lives there. Okay. Okay. So does he pay you rent, or he just?
For now, he's just living there.
Right. That's good. That's good because we could look at something conceivably as a rental property or as a residential property. In a case like yours, since you have a close relative living there, free of charge, as long as your intent was to continue to offer the home to him, then we could process your loan as a home loan, which would qualify for the lower interest rate. The interest rates are a little bit lower, as low as 1.563%. So that would be helpful for you. The loans, of course, you know, these are loans that have to be repaid. And so we have an underwriting process. Everyone has to be able to show that they can afford to repay the loan, that they have the adequate cash flow to be able to afford to repay the loan, and that they have an acceptable credit history. We're a little more lenient than a typical commercial lender would be. You know, and certainly if there are issues, we're willing to listen to you and try to get a handle on, you know, your unique circumstances. You know, on credit, a lot of times people might have had a period of unemployment or a medical condition that created some bumps in the road for them and their finances and their credit, and we can, you know, take a look at that and see how your situation fits into our program.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Isabel. All right, we just have one more question queued up. If there are no more questions, I'm going to go into some frequently asked questions that were submitted beforehand. So just a reminder, if you would like to ask a live question to Jack, please use the chat feature at the bottom of your screen and I'll get you all queued up. But first, let's go back to Prahans. Prahans, can you hear us?
Yes. For economic injury, what kind of proof does the SBA require? I was closed for the following day after the storm just because we couldn't, people couldn't travel. So we didn't have employees in our store. You know, so is that, can I claim economic injury under those circumstances?
You certainly can. And if when someone applies for a loan for physical damages, we automatically open up a economic injury case for them, and if we can approve a loan for your physical damages, we're automatically going to consider you for some portion of economic injury, and that can be a pretty simple process. That I
didn't have any physical damage though.
You did not have physical damage?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, that's okay. You can still apply for the loan. We don't require that you have physical damage to apply for an economic injury loan. Just as long as you're in the disaster area and suffered a substantial economic injury as a result of the disaster. So in your case, we're going to look at your financial statements. You'll need to provide us with current financial statements along with your tax returns. We'll see what you have done and expect to do as a result of the disaster and compare that to what we determine based on your financial statements is normal for you, to determine kind of an upper limit of your eligibility, and then determine what your needs are. And so long as what we determine your economic needs to be, if they are under what the effects of the disaster are, that's what we would offer you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks both. All right, we have more questions coming in. Let's go to John from Mountainside. John, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much. I have a commercial property that was damaged with damage from the storm. At this particular point, I have a coverage limit on the property, and the quote to repair exceeds the cover limit, and I'm trying to determine, obviously, what I can do to make up the difference between my insurance coverage limit and the additional quote or fees to remediate the problem.
Okay, well, that is definitely a situation that SBA can consider for you, John. And it's just like the other business loans we've been talking about. It's for your uninsured losses, whatever those may be, up to $2 million. And that includes your deductible. So, your insurance company is gonna estimate your damages. They say $100,000, and then they're gonna say, well, there's a $5,000 deductible. So, you're definitely eligible with that $5,000. There may have been other damage that the insurance company didn't cover, such as damage to the land or your parking lot, or something like that that's not covered by your insurance. Then that would be covered by SBA also.
And I would follow the process of registering with FEMA and then following up with SBA, or do I go directly to the SBA?
You can come directly to the SBA. If your residence wasn't affected, just go to disasterloanassistance.sba.gov. Like I say, I encourage people that live here in New Jersey to register with FEMA, just to make sure that you don't bypass any of the assistance that they can offer you. But go ahead and you can go ahead and come straight to SBA. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, John. Let's go to Everett from Pittstown. Everett, can you hear us? Everett, do we have you?
Yes.
Go ahead with your
Yes.
question.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Hi, Mr. Camp. Little bit different question. I have been approved by the SBA for an increase in my EIDL loan. And I keep getting emails from the SBA that the loan's being processed, and it's been being processed for several months now. And I wonder how long the processing will take.
That's a good question. This is for your COVID idle. Is that correct, Everett?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And that is a different program. And in that program, they do have a backlog. They are working through it as quickly as they can. And I know that there are people like you who have been waiting some time for a decision. I can't really give you an answer, though, to your question. But you can call the 800 number. I'm sure you probably have been calling them, and they've been giving you an answer as to, basically the status hasn't changed. And if I looked your case up, I probably wouldn't be able to give you any different of an answer, but they are working through these. After COVID, and I forget the numbers off the top of my head, but we've been making disaster loans. We started doing it in 1953. After COVID, in the course of 1 year, in less than a year, we made many times over the amounts of loans as we had made in all the preceding years going back to 1953. It was a lot of work. It was.
Watch the baby today?
And I mean, I want to say that we had made about somewhere 50, 60, between 50 and 60 billion dollars in disaster loans prior to COVID. And we made many hundreds of billions of COVID disaster loans. And so they have quite a backlog. And I know it's been difficult for people that have had to wait on decisions. And I wish I could give you a better answer other than we're doing the very best we can to get to your case.
I appreciate that, but one other question. The amount of the increase has already been set. So is that mean that the process is well along now? Because they have given me what the increased amount of the loan will be.
I don't know the answer to that question, to be perfectly honest with you, Everett. You know, every case is different. Every circumstance is different. I not knowing your case and your circumstances, I can't answer your question. I'm terribly sorry.
Thanks.
Thank you very much anyway.
Thanks, Everett. And if anyone else is in a similar situation like Everett, we do have casework representatives available to possibly assist you through this as well. I'm dropping that link again in the chat. That's melanowski.house.gov/casework. So please reach out if you are having difficulty accessing any of these benefits, and our office will try to help. Next up, we have Patricia from Union. Patricia, can you hear us?
Yes. Here's my question. I had trouble filling out the application online for the assistance. And so it was recommended that I go down to the office. And when I paid the office a visit, the agent mentioned something about they would put a lien on your property in order to get a loan. Is that true? Or is there a certain amount that, where they would put a lien on your property in order to get the loan?
Okay, that's a great question. These are loans, and while we want to, provide disaster assistance, at the same time we do have to look after the interest of the American taxpayer. So for loans in excess of $25,000 for physical damages or $25,000 for economic injury, collateral is required. Fortunately, we don't make the loan decision based on the adequacy of the collateral. We just, if there is collateral available, we're going to take it. If there's real estate available, we're probably going to be looking at that. So yes, if you own a home, and now is this for your home or your business?
This is for my home.
Okay, for your home, if it's over $25,000, we will require collateral. But you don't, you're not required to file that mortgage. We can, depending on your losses, if we approve you for a loan, the first disbursement is generally going to be up to $25,000, our unsecured lending limit. And if that's all the money you have to have, then you can stop there. Okay. And not have to put a lien on your property.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
now,
Patricia.
for a business that depending, remember I said that we look at the physical and economic injury separately. So we could go up to $25,000 on the physical part of your loan on an unsecured basis. And we could go up to $25,000 on the economic injury portion of your loan. So you could conceivably borrow up to $50,000 on an unsecured basis. For the businesses.
Thanks, Jack. We have no more questions queued up right now. I'm going to go into a few frequently asked questions that were submitted beforehand. These might have been addressed already, but we had a few inquiries on them. So I just want to make sure that everyone gets this information. If you have any more live questions, you can still submit them using the chat feature at the bottom of your screen. Jack, is there any programs available for farmers?
Okay, if for farmers, I would refer you to the Farm Service Administration, part of the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The Small Business Administration cannot make loans to agricultural enterprises. So if you've got a farm, then we won't be able to help you for your agricultural activities. Now, we do run into farmers a lot who have a non-agricultural part of their business. And it is possible that that could have eligibility. In addition, if a farmer had damages to their home or personal property not related to the farm, we could help them with that. So I think I would recommend for a farmer to sit down and talk to us. It may be that we have to send them to the Farm Service Administration, but we might, depending on the nature of their losses and the nature of their business, we might be able to offer them something.
Thanks, Jack. And yeah, we just found that a link to those farmers programs as well as the disaster assistance program, part of USDA. So that is in the chat feature now as well. All right, another frequently asked question we had a few times is, what is the max loan I can apply for?
Okay, there's a $2 million cap, and that applies to everything. If you apply for a loan for your home, now for homes, it's lower. We can loan you up to $200,000 for your real estate and up to $40,000 for your personal property. On top of that, I mentioned earlier, we do have refinancing as a benefit of this program. We can refinance up to $200,000 for a homeowner. And also for a homeowner, we have a mitigation part of our program. I haven't spoken about that yet, but we can increase a loan by up to 20% of the verified loss up to a maximum of $200 for $200,000 for a homeowner. So, you know, you add all those together, a homeowner could get over $600,000 conceivably. Don't see that often, but it has happened before. For businesses, it's a hard cap, regardless of where that eligibility comes from, of $2 million. In addition, if there are multiple loans, if you're looking at a home and a business, or if you're part of an affiliated group and we're looking at several businesses, we're going to combine all of those together, and it has to come under that $2 million cap.
Thanks, Jack. How long is the processing time for a loan typically?
Our goal is to get an answer in 2 to 3 weeks. And so once you make an application, you know, hopefully we're going to get an answer to you within 2 to 3 weeks. We've been here already for, 2 to 3 weeks, and we're already, we've approved a couple of hundred loans already. So we're beginning to get some of these loans approved and out on the street.
Perfect, thanks. All right, I have one more FAQ to get through, and then I'll turn it over to Jack for some closing remarks. But again, if you have any last questions, please use the chat feature at the bottom of your screen. For our last FAQ, Jack, can I be reimbursed for tools and supplies lost in the disaster from my business?
Yes, absolutely. Tools and supplies are covered. That's just another tangible asset of the business. Of course, if those tools and supplies were at your residence and that's where the damage occurred, I'm gonna recommend in that case that as part of the process that you get in touch with FEMA. Call FEMA at their 800 number or visit them at disasterassistance.gov and see how you fit into their situation. Every situation is unique and different. And so, I just want to make sure that you get the right assistance for you. And and I can't speak for FEMA on what their eligibility is, but let's let them speak for themselves. If something happened at your home, register with FEMA.
Great, thanks, Jack. And thanks for everyone on this call for joining us this afternoon. This was incredibly helpful. So thank you so much, Jack, for joining us. Just a reminder that if you have difficulties accessing any of these federal benefits, our office may be able to help. You can reach out to us at malinowski.house.gov/casework. We will continue to hold forums like these to ensure that all of you have the proper resources. And with that, Jack, I will turn it over to you if you want to finish up this call and with some closing remarks.
Okay, well, yes. As I've mentioned a couple of times, everybody's case is different. I encourage you to apply for the loan, see what we can do and make an informed decision once you get all the facts. If you don't apply for the loan, then you won't have all the facts. It doesn't cost you anything to apply, and you're under no obligation to accept a loan if one is offered. Our filing deadlines right now are November the 4th for physical losses and June the 6th for economic injury. As I mentioned before, our interest rates and terms that we offer are very advantageous. A homeowner can get a loan with interest rates as low as 1.563%, and a business as low as 2.855%. And as I mentioned, those nonprofits, their interest rates are 2%. And these loans are for up to 30 years. So, that's a very good deal. That's an affordable deal. And whereas, this might not be the best circumstance for you, it is still certainly, worthwhile to at least look into it. So, look at FEMA, see what they have to offer you, disasterassistance.gov, and apply with SBA at disasterloanassistance.sba.gov. Or you can give us a call at 1-800-659-2955. And I'll give you that 800 number again, 1-800-659-2955, or disasterloanassistance.sba.gov.
Thanks so much, Jack, and have a good rest of your day, everyone.